Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the West Lindsey series. This is one of the 9 districts of Lincolnshire and one of the county's most rural. It has 128 civil parishes. Let's see which one this episode's all about. Welcome back to West Lindsey, everybody. Nikki is still reeling from being in the mill in Blyton, aren't you?
Definitely.
We've literally come straight from Blyton to this place. Now, this is a very, very small place. This one is definitely linear. It's a simple start at one end, work your way to the other, and then walk all the way back again kind of job. But it's lovely and it's so quiet. And yeah, the day's still good too. There's lots of things here and not all of it will be caught with the camera. I'll explain why as we walk around. This is Northorpe. The West Lindsey series is sponsored by Gainsborough Cycles 01427 617 752. For all your cycling needs, this is your one-stop shop, located at 20 Ropery Road or online at gainsboroughcycles.com. There's a link in the description. Gainsborough Cycles, ask for Trevor Halstead. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like, and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Welcome to Northorpe, a tiny village situated in the Eau Valley about 8 miles north of the town of Gainsborough. The population of the civil parish at the 2011 census was 126. Northorpe consists of one main thoroughfare, Monson Road, which runs from south to north. There are other roads which we'll talk about, but mostly it's all off that one street. Northorpe literally means North Village or North Farm, and much like other thorpes we've seen, it derives from the Old Norse word Torp. In this area, Torp was listed 5 times in the Domesday Book. Northorpe has a southern twin called Southorpe, and the parish boundaries include both settlements. However, Southorpe is just a handful of houses and the site of a deserted medieval village. Southorpe's population declined during the 15th century. It had a church dedicated to St Martin, which was pulled down in the early 16th century. Southorpe existed as a separate civil parish from 1858 to 1932, when it was abolished to enlarge that of Northorpe. Like Blyton, Northorpe once had a railway station as well, which closed in 1964. Northorpe still has 2 halls. Northorpe Old Hall is a Grade 2 listed ruin dating from the 16th century, and the modern Northorpe Hall is a yellow brick-built house dating from 1872. Other than that, it's just a pleasant little place which typifies West Lindsey perfectly. Here's what we made of it. Our trip through Northorpe begins on its one main road, Monson Road, named for a local land-owning family. There are several 17th century monuments in the church to the Monsons. Northorpe Old Hall, the older of the 2 halls I alluded to in the intro, was the seat of the Monson family. The newer, yellow brick version was erected by a T.F. Embleton Fox. We're about to turn up Manor Road. Northorpe's War Memorial stands on the corner of the churchyard, and it remembers the dead from both World Wars. The church is the village's focal point. It's still an active church and it's used for parish council meetings. That's a council, by the way, which has only recently been reformed. We thought that last building may have been the old post office given the postbox on the wall, but there's no doubt about this one. You're looking at Northorpe's old reading room. So we can hear some aircraft in the background. I know what that will be. That will be RAF Curtin and Lindsey, or should I say Trent Valley Gliding Club. They'll be taking gliders up. It's a Saturday, so that's an interesting building. What's this, Nikki?
The old schoolhouse.
Oh, an old schoolhouse. Okay, cool. Our route goes... National School. Ah, okay, our route goes into the churchyard now. That old schoolroom is now the village hall, according to Wikipedia. So to the Grade 1 listed church dedicated to St John the Baptist. This dates from the 12th century and was restored in 1905. At one time, the churchyard was said to be haunted by a bargist, a mythical, monstrous black dog with large teeth and claws, which is seen as an omen of death. Beside the church is the old vicarage built in 1877, and it's now a private home. It's around the church where most of the population live. Services are still held in it every Sunday morning. So the road bends here after the church and heads to the east, and that's where we're going shortly. Now my walk will take me all the way to the River Owe, which is not that far away actually, but it is beyond the end of this road. There's like a little footpath that leads to it. We'll go and see that in a few moments. Nikki's found a bench, which is right next to the parish notice board. Have a guess what I'm going to get you to do in a minute. Nikki eventually worked out how to put this one inside the notice board. It felt like it was open, but it wasn't. However, there was a small gap under the door, large enough to slip a card under. Either way, you can all mark Northorpe off that West Lindsey list. On the right, just after the board, we have the Monson playing field. On the walk back to the car, we'll get a better look at that. It has a lot of different equipment, ranging from football nets to a zip wire. We continue down Monson Road. Out of shot to the left here is Charity Farmhouse, one of Northorpe's oldest buildings, dating from the 17th century. We would have got the TVI pounds out for this, but this little egg store was empty. If you're passing through and it's been refilled, maybe you can help support a local business yourself. Now it's a bridle way towards the River Owe. One thing we haven't yet talked about, by the way, is Cold Harbour Farm, whose name is thought to refer to ancient Roman buildings. Roman coins have been found in a field near Northorpe. So as I make my way down to the River Owe, I will tell you why not all of Northorpe will be caught using the camera. It's quite simple really. We spent quite a lot of time in Blighton, more than we expected last week, and because of that something had to be cut from either this episode or the next one, and so as a result this walk is going to end here at the River Owe, which is beneath my feet. My original plan was to go from here to the old railway station and then to the deserted medieval village of Southorpe, which I'd have to walk to. You can't drive to it, but we wouldn't have enough time to do the next village if I did that. So as a result, those two things are now coming your way in today's picture bit. So all that remains is to walk back, beginning here at the River Owe, which flows under this bridge on its way into the Trent. It's not the largest river in the world. In truth, it looks more like a drain. We were quite enamoured with some of the local fruit which can be found along here. Nikki suspected these might be either damsons or plums. I genuinely have no idea. Northorpe is quite the picturesque place when the sun comes out. This shot doesn't really do it justice as to how pretty this village looks. The one street we haven't yet looked at is Chapel Lane, which is on the other side of the play area. Up here, there's a primitive Methodist chapel, and according to Visitor UK, this still holds a service. It didn't look very open to me though. Regardless, it's a nice building which dates from 1899, although there's been a chapel here in Northorpe since 1849. So I'm just going to step onto Emminson playing field to end this one. There is an adventure trail here, and I know how much you guys love to see me make a fool of myself, but I'm not about to attempt that one today, I don't think. It's just a nice little place to end this. Opposite the church, the centre of Northorpe. It's really good. It's really good. Even though it's a tiny village, we've got a lot out of this one, I think. So yeah. Nice one to do and get off the list. I'm just going to go and find Nikki, who's perched under a tree over here. It's quite a warm day, and patches of shade in the open like this are quite difficult to come across, although there is one here under this tree, as you can see. Let's see what Nikki's got to say for herself as we wrap this one up. What are we thinking of Northorpe, missus?
Do you know, I quite like this. I sat in blissful peace and it was just lovely. And it's another one that I'd live here, you know. A shameless plug for the link at the bottom. You know, I'd definitely live in a place like this, but again, you need a bank balance like a telephone number. But yeah, I like it. Good.
That's what we want to hear. Okay, time to move on to the next one, which is not that far away. All we have to do is drive past the church here, round that bend and around the other bend where the track to the river was, and we're virtually there. And I'll see you there next week. This has been the parish of Northorpe, and I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.